Okay, I'm looking at my ammo collection here, and I decided to turn the camera on. I'm going to take a look at my 223 ammo right now. I've got some ammo out here just to use as size comparison. This is 308 on the end here, 7.62 by 51. A lot bigger. I just put it in there for size comparison. A lot of times the AR is compared with the AK. So here's two, again, to compare sizes. The AK-47 round, the 7.62 by 39, compared to the 223. I guess I might as well bring this one up, compare it also. 30 caliber versus 223. Now this one's a 6.8. I just bring this one out because the AR-15 platform can shoot this. You can see they're very comparable in length, so this will work in the magazine, works in the action. So with a new barrel, new bolt, new magazine, I think you can use the 6.8. We've got a 22 out here. Again, obviously nowhere near the same size and like that, but when you start talking about caliber, they're basically the same size. So I put that one out here. I've got some other projectiles, just interesting ones. This one might not be 22, but it's about the same size. I'll show you some of the different sizes. I've got the different 223 rounds that I have in my collection, and then I've got, again, some rounds that are similar but a lot bigger. Obviously 50 caliber BMG, a lot bigger, but I bring it out because, you know, it's got real similar proportions. It's almost like this is just a scaled down version of it. It probably is. So just looking through some of these are basically hunting cartridges for the most part. This one's a 243. I mean, again, it's on the big end, but I figured I'd bring it out just to show, again, you know, this is a big time hunting cartridge versus the 223. Really, you know, it's bigger, but it's up there. This one is a 225 Winchester, and again, very similar in caliber, but a lot more cartridge there, a lot more powder. Next comes this one, again, that's real close in caliber, 220 Swift, so real close this way, but a lot more cartridge. Next I've got a 22 250, which again is basically 22 caliber, but a lot more cartridge. Next up is a 222 Remington. If I had these in my hand, I almost usually mix them up. In fact, one friend of mine stopped me one time before I was loading this into a mag from a bag of loose ammo. Real close in diameter, but a little bit shorter cartridge on that one. This is another one that sort of looks the same if you got them in your hands. A little easier to discern this one though because it's such a smaller diameter. It's a 17, like a 17 HMR. Just this cartridge, which is kind of neat too. It's sort of a neck cartridge. It's a Rimfire though. It's like the 22 over here. I'll leave it out. So that's the 17 Remington. Next is the another AK round. This one's the AK-74 though. Notice up here in the corner I've got an AK-74 mag and an AR mag. The two rounds. Real similar. They're not the same, of course. A lot of times people ask if you can shoot the AK-47 or AK-74 round in the 223 or vice versa, and you can see it's really not going to happen. I wouldn't suggest it. It looks like it's a recipe for trouble. Much larger, longer bullet. Next up is a neat one. It's a 223 WSSM, so a 223 Winchester Super Short Magnum. You know, same caliber, but wow, that's a lot bigger round. So that's a neat one. I've never actually seen the gun for this one, just have the round. So now we're digging into the actual 223 rounds. We've got the couple of brass cases that I got that were anodized. Look kind of neat. They're different colors. I'm guessing for competitive shooters mostly. Somebody might want that. And I've got this kind of a neat, I think it's a training round. It's blue tipped. It's not magnetic. It's really lightweight, so I'm thinking it's some sort of training round. I must have got it at a gun show or something. Got this hunting round. It's a Winchester. Kind of neat with a black tip. The one that I've been using for comparisons is just a Russian Wolf 223. Next up is this one's kind of neat. It's called a Frontier 223, and it's got sort of a red tip and I don't know what the bullet is, maybe plastic or aluminum. It's definitely not magnetic, and again, it's very lightweight, but I don't get the impression that that's a training round. Next up is UTM, so it's again an all aluminum non-magnetic case. There's this tip that comes off, and that's the UTM, the business end. I wish I would have grabbed one right away, but there's basically this tip's going to come off. There's two primers, if I recall. The first primer hits a ball bearing, which hits the second primer, and then this shoots out basically to create the recoil. So the weapon is basically the same platform whoever's training would be using and on duty. So anyway, this goes out, and it's got a little piece of wax in there, so when it hits you, it hurts pretty good, but about like a BB gun, getting hit in a jacket with a BB gun. You wear protection and whatnot, but again, it gives you manipulation of the platform for force-on-force training, for training that's, getting down and learning how to actually fight and see what happens when you are real close quarters trying to shoot at someone. It's actually a lot more difficult than it seems. Anyway, that's a round that I had found one time. This one's sort of a trunicated or a flat tip, and I guess it's for putting cleaner holes in paper. I'm not really sure about that one. I think I found that at the range one time in the brass bucket. This is a blank, just a crimped front end, no projectile, a primer, and I think that's probably it. There might be a little bit of powder, I'm not sure. These are two dummy rounds. This one's solid plastic, this one's brass with a plastic tip. We use these when we're training basically to create a malfunction, so your muscle memory comes into play and you clear that malfunction ideally. Next up is just a neat 223 that has a plastic tip, so I'm guessing it's designed for probably hunting. Next up are some plastic rounds. These are really neat. We got these at SHOT a couple years back, and if I recall correctly, these it's not brass, it's plastic with the brass end where the rim is, and if I remember correctly, these can be reloaded a few times. I might be wrong on that. I'll have to do some research. One of them has the plastic tip also. Really neat little round. These are just dummies. These are giveaways just to show the concept. Anyway, that's the 223 collection I've got here. So, and last thing I've got is the sort of a puzzle that we got from Kel-Tec a couple years back at SHOT, I guess advertising the SU-16, one of their 223s. It's kind of a neat puzzle. You pull this pin out and it just falls apart into pieces, so I guess I'll have to figure out how to put that one back together.